What?
Bright, what's the problem?
It's a kid. There's some kid in the cockpit of the Gundam.
Damn.
Welcome to Gundamn, the unofficial podcast of all things Gundam and anime. This is the first episode, and I'm one of your hosts, Soul Bro Ryu.
I'm the other one, the old co-pilot here, Neil Lornak. Just want to welcome everybody to the first inaugural episode of Gundam.
We're podcasting live from Orlando, Florida.
Yes. Rainy Orlando, Florida today.
Exactly. And if you want to check out our website, right now we're on the old MySpace at www.myspace.com.
Make sure you get on there before the California people do.
Exactly.
Clogged up.
www.myspace.com/Gundam the show. That's GUNDAMN the THE show SHOW. Check us out there. If you're on MySpace, add us as a friend. We'll be glad to have you.
And message us with some suggestions or whatever.
Exactly.
Hey, what's up?
We do have an email. That's Gundam, GUNDAMN, @cfl.rr.com. Hit us up with the email there, too, if you have any kind of opinions on the show. And catch us posted on MAHQ.net. That's the greatest mecha-related website out there.
And that's where we'll get most of our information.
Information and input. And we love that site. Have been for years. They're also
Yes.
They're also Floridians just like us.
Yes, Florida-based.
Florida-based. And hopefully we'll get to meet up at a convention soon so we can shoot the shot with them.
Yeah, exactly. But the basic idea of what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to be talking. This is more of a celebration of all things Gundam and Mech. It's going to be we're going to talk a lot about Gundam because Sobro and I are big fans of that. But we're also big fans of just Mech anime in general. And
Exactly.
we're going to talk about what we like, some of the things that we don't like, some of the things that we think need to help Mech anime become more popular. And just general discussions of just all things mech. There's a lot of shows out there. We've seen a lot of them, but I know we haven't seen all of them.
Not at all.
Probably won't. So this is going to be one of these podcasts where we definitely want some feedback from the listeners, and hopefully one of these times we start getting this thing big enough we can actually answer questions or things during the show. So. It's all based on that.
Even get Bandai involved if we can.
Well, we won't go that far.
Well, I'm just saying, just input from them.
He's already shooting for the stars.
Oh
right now.
man! Well, Bandai, we love you. I collect your models and your shows. I bought many of your DVDs.
Yes.
So don't think I'm one of them bootleggers that go out there and download all your shows for free. I don't. I buy your stuff. I have the receipts to prove it.
I've helped the stock price a few times.
That's
in
right.
Some quarters. But the biggest thing that we want here is we're just going to be talking. This isn't really a hate site. We're just going to sit here and talk about what we're going to
be honest and fair.
Yes,
and
that is going to be the big thing.
That is our main goal with this show. We're not going to sit there and hate on shows and troll a show. No, we'll point out their good points.
We'll be critical.
Exactly. We'll be critical. We'll point out their good points and their bad points.
But we're critical of shows we love.
Exactly. We'll sit there and dissect a show that we love all day long. Whether it be freaking Mobile Suit Gundam, we'll point out the things that are BS in it.
All the things.
All night.
All of the things. But, so hopefully it show's probably going to be between, 30, 45 minutes. A couple segments a time. We're going to have news. Usually at the beginning, we're going to have a quick little facts of news dealing with all things mech, with anime, games, books, whatever it might be, models.
Things to look out for, things that are coming out.
Yep.
And things past, shows that you should know about, but probably don't.
But, so we welcome everybody, and we wish that everybody enjoys what we do, and, definitely give us feedback. So,
what about a little about you? What got you into mech anime?
Well, basically, my story is pretty unconventional because I never really knew what an anime was until later on when I was in high school. I used to see Robotech and all that when I was a child, and I just liked it, and Voltron and all that. Just liked them because I liked kaiju shows. I used to watch a lot of Godzilla, and I liked anything that was big, and Ultraman and all those shows. And it was just kind of the natural progression to actually enjoy those type of shows, and then finally realizing what they were was pretty nice. And getting into Gundam. I had always heard of Gundam. I always heard of it as Gundam. Kind of like the name of our show.
Would you draw the name of this show?
Yeah. But, my first real introduction of it was back in 98 when it was shown, when Wing was shown on Cartoon Network.
Those were exciting times, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely, and it was like, wow, this is Gundam, and then we got to see Mobile Suit Gundam, and then natural progression from there.
Those trailers alone, I mean, Toonami really blew up the spot when it came to Gundam and promoting it. And those early years were fantastic. In between 98 to 2001 was like the heyday of Gundam on Cartoon Network. I'm just sorry that Mobile Suit Gundam didn't do as well as Wing.
Yeah.
That's the show that should have done better. But.
And it's funny, though, because it seemed like Stardust and Stardust Memories and 08, that as team were actually were better received.
Yeah.
So, but what got you into the whole genre of mechs?
When I grew up, I used to see shows like Voltron and anime shows. I didn't even know what anime was back then, but I'd watch Voltron and Tranzor Z, which in reality is Mangetsu Z. It was an Americanized version of one of the greatest super mech shows ever made, and the first super robot show ever made, if I recall. But what really struck it home for me was when I was 8 years old and woke up one morning, turned on my old little black and white television in my bedroom as I got ready for school, and I saw Rick Hunter laying on his bed being called to some kind of meeting. And I thought it was some other spin-off of Voltron because they had like 20 million different Voltrons back then. Well, in reality, 2 different Voltron shows, but I thought it was another Voltron show. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I was only deferred to find out that it's completely unlike any other show I'd ever watched. It was a drama set in the drama set in the genre of anime about a war with transformable mecha, but the characters were the strongest focal point of that show.
They were the focal point.
And I was caught up in soap opera for the first time in my life, and it was animated. And from there on, I was hooked into anime, and more so mecha anime than anything else. And Robotech was the show, and I'm forever indebted to it for making me an anime junkie.
Well, I mean, and
a mecha junkie more so.
And then the thing that was great about that show was the fact, and actually Gundam and all those kind of real robot shows, was that you finally got to see the villains of who they were, and that was always kind of intriguing because even in normal cartoons, American cartoons, you never really get to see the villains. You just always see them as evil. They're just there to try to take over the world or whatever, and whatever plot, and that was what made these shows so great. And that's what got me into it too, because let's face it, the villains are always the cooler people.
Yeah, for once they weren't villains, they were antagonists.
Yeah,
and
they were people.
They were people, and they had things that motivated them. They weren't just villains to be evil. No, they had what's passion, or they had things that caused them to be the way they are.
Yeah, or they just thought they saw the world in a different way.
Exactly,
and it may not be the right. It may not seem to be the right way for you, but to them they feel that that's the best way it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically that in a nutshell when it comes to us. That's kind of a sample of the little topics and some of the insight that we'll be bringing. And once again, we just hope you guys enjoy the show. We want you to check us out, and we'll be back in a few minutes to do our first segment. All right?
Gundam.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Oh my god!
Flip the Script is a roundtable discussion covering the topics of anime.
I know you guys are just like me. We can't afford to pick up all these volumes that they keep releasing. Where the hell are the movies where I can only buy one thing and enjoy it?
A lot of shows with the same themes come to the States first, so we get to miss out on a lot of the original shows. Case in point, Monster, one of the greatest murder mystery sagas that's just been animated in Japan. It's about 75 episodes, wonderful show, has yet to be picked up.
Video games.
360 or PS3? Which one would you actually spend your hard-earned money on?
Both.
On both? But you would have to pick one.
The Wii. Can I buy the Wii?
There's been so much hype about this PS3 that it's like, why? I just gotta see it.
Can you get pushed back again?
Japan gets 100,000 on November 11th, as we get 400,000 November 17th. That is 100,000 less units of the PS2. Yeah, you guys are going to have some fun getting that sucker.
That is true. There are only
the back.
30 million people living in Canada.
Which means about 95% of those people will not be getting a PS3.
But television.
What is the deal with Dave Chappelle? First 2 seasons of his show were awesome. Third season came around and the motherfucker wasn't even there.
Money got to his brain.
Money got to his brain.
Money
exactly.
got to his brain. And that's what I'm saying right there.
He didn't want to do the show if it was going to conflict with his beliefs. I guess he's become more of a devout Muslim, so, you know.
He's a Muslim for real?
Yeah, he's a Muslim.
Who says so?
He's a Muslim.
Since when?
Have you read anything?
My mama ain't told me this.
Oh, I'm too bad. That man's been...
Movies. The Protector actually far superseded Bach.
Let's backtrack here. The story is kind of silly, but they just set enough of groundwork for the story so that you can get into the action.
After the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's
like,
balls
okay.
to the wall, ass kickery.
It's got some of the best camera work I've seen in action.
And there's a lot of chicken bone breaking in this one because I'll tell you this much, folks. Tibulas and fibulas are going like crazy. Everyday stuff.
First off, we decided to have a live draft, and we get together at a sports bar to do this thing and pick the teams. Guys are showing up in their favorite team's jerseys.
Hey.
They're coming with notebooks, pens, pads. They got their best friend on their cell phone to give them advice on who to pick. I come as I am, and I'm thinking to myself, I am starting something with a bunch of total lunatics.
They're dealing with the opinions of 6 different people. Those people include Boy Wonder.
I thought it was great that nobody knocked Brad Pitt for breaking up with him. People doing tabloid news and stuff were just like, man, I'd have done the same thing.
Dr. Encyclopedia Black.
We know that Angelina Jolie and her father have a bad relationship. And it's like, why? Why do I need to know this?
Lee Majors.
I feel really good when I actually hear a woman say, yeah, I would have picked Angelina too. I'm like, you damn right.
Neo the Blonde Ace. The only thing that I see when I see Angelina Jolie is I just wonder how she would break me in two in bed and how I would die a very happy man. Shoji Romero.
Once again, I bring up the whole fact that you guys gotta know I have a short attention span. You guys bore me, I'm moving on.
And Soul Brother Ryu.
SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters. I know y'all all laughing out there, but F y'all, that's going to be the game of the year.
We'd like to welcome all of you to Flip the Script.
Did you order the code red?
Gun.
Damn right I did!
Alright, welcome back to Gundam, the unofficial podcast for all things Gundam and Mecha. Our first topic for the show and for the evening is going to be our thoughts and impressions of the brand new show, Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Today is actually the day after it aired in Japan. It's October 7th, 2007. Myself and the Soul Brother have finished watching the subtitled versions.
Yes, we have.
Via the internet. Thank God for the internet now.
Banda, don't be angry. Sunrise, forgive us.
They will get their money, and we always stress to everybody, download things, but, buy it if you like it.
Don't worry, my future self has already bought the show.
And that's a good segue, because, to be honest with you, what I saw, I was very impressed. Basically, I haven't really done too much research on what the background of the show before it aired. I did it on purpose.
As opposed to me, who was scouring the internet for any kind of information I possibly could find.
Yeah. When I found out, probably it was about 6 or 7 months ago, that they were going to do a new show, that they really kind of finally announced when it was going to be coming out, I purposely did not read anything on there because of my debacle with the whole Destiny issues.
Oh wait, with all the fake news that was being posted up on what's the name of that site? Ganada?
Yeah, fake
Ganada.
news there and fake news off the Japanese new type, and it was just terrible. But
and for people that don't know Ganada, that's the website A as in Alpha, E as in Edward, U as in Umbrella, G as in Gary. Anybody familiar with Zeta Gundam? It knows the AEUG. AEUG.blogspot.com. Go there and get filled in on sometimes some BS, but you know, for the most part, pretty good news, especially about the world of Gundam.
Yes, and Tamina, because he's a big fan. They're a big fan of his too. But,
exactly.
I guess I'll start it real quick. My first impression after watching, I actually watched the show raw first, and that's without subtitles while I was waiting for the subtitle version to come down later. And finally watched it last night after the LSU Florida game. And I was actually in a very good mood because LSU won. But besides that,
Florida hater?
I would have to say, I have reason. I would have to say my first impression after watching the show was, wow. And they finally did it. And I hope it continues through the how many episodes they're going to do.
But they really did set the pace. I honestly believe that, and this is the first Gundam series that I can recall where they really introduced the whole ensemble. The first episode. Now we don't know everything about everyone, but we at least caught a glimpse.
Half their names.
Yeah, exactly. We know there's a blonde ace. We know there's 4 pretty boys in charge of the Gundams, and we know that Metal Gear made an appearance in the opening.
I was looking for Solid Snake, but I didn't see him.
And the
He's
kid
blended in with the
kid might as
buildings.
well be Solid Snake with those moves he was pulling off at the beginning of the show. But no, it was eye catching from the beginning. Now I know you're not a fan of Full Metal Alchemist. But you could see that this director Seiji, I think it's Matsushima.
Okay.
He directed this. He's directing this series as well, and he's directed another fan favorite of mine, Die Guard, which was excellent. It had his high points and low points, but for the most part, I own and love that show. To me, it's like the working man's Nadesco. But I also loved Full Metal Alchemist, and I watched that as it was airing also. And that show had kind of a violence factor that was unbecoming to most animes that nowadays, not like the ultraviolet 80s. And to see a Gundam with the grit of war in it, another one with kind of the grit of war introduced to you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Was sad to see, but nice to see too. And
yeah, because they usually spoon feed that to you.
Exactly.
I mean,
even the opening for Destiny, which I have a love-hate relationship with Destiny. That opening for that show was powerful and strong too, but it was kind of that gloss over war that you're used to seeing in Seed, as opposed to the war that's in like 8th MS Team.
Yeah.
And
well, Seed was pretty gritty. It just took a while for it to get gritty.
That's true.
I mean, it was pretty violent, especially the middle of that show. But back to this show, I mean, I thought
it's hard not to compare, right?
It is hard not to compare because I mean, you're talking maybe Destiny was a year and a half. Yeah, it was a year ago.
Destiny was a year ago. Yeah.
But yeah, my first thought of it, as soon as you see the opening credits, we're not going to go too much of what happened in the episode because we encourage everybody to watch it. And we don't want to give any spoilers, but it set a mood that was unique, and it set a mood that was very un-Gundam-like, I think.
Very, very much so. It spun on its head. I mean, for once, they went with 4 pilots instead of 5.
Yeah.
It's breaking a lot of forms. I didn't see a masked person in this show. And the last Gundam show I didn't see a masked person in was outside of the
MS team.
Is outside of the OVAs, the last Gundam series. I can't think of one Gundam series where I didn't see someone in a mask. That has yet to be revealed. There may be someone who's actually has a veiled identity.
Yeah.
Who we don't know about yet, but I mean, from jump, we didn't see someone with a mask, so that's a pretty good sign. We did have a blonde ace, which is always good to see.
Well, you're always going to have them.
Always got to have that Char slash Roy factor in the show.
That's a staple of all mecha anime.
Exactly.
But
it is a crime.
Yeah, it's a little bit different view. It definitely seems like I feel it's geared to an older audience. The pilots seem older. They're not all kids. They're not all like high school dropouts like it seems every Gundam pilot is.
Yeah, the oldest one I believe is either 22 or 24.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they all probably have varied backgrounds. One of them is complete mystery.
Right.
And I know Setsuna, you got a little taste of what his background was.
Yeah, the main
guy. And my favorite character so far is Lock-On. Man, the sniper of the group, because he has an orange haro.
Yeah,
holding it down with him. And it's beautiful.
In addition to what you were saying with the characters all being introduced in some way or form, at least shown at the beginning,
right,
we get to see all the factions right away too. There doesn't seem to be any. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some mystery faction probably moving in, but maybe not. But we see from right up that there's about 3 world governments, and then the celestial being, and the people behind the Gundams.
The freedom fighters.
Yeah, you see that there's about 4 factions, and it's put right out in front of you. And there's no mystery, and you know that there's going to... You can see why there's a need for all these characters.
Right.
So, I mean...
And you're introduced to some characters, and you're wondering, how are these school kids going to play a role in this whole story? And who's the glasses guy that's with the blonde ace? I think he's a mech designer, maybe. I don't know what his whole role in the series is.
Yeah, it was interesting. The people they actually introduced by name and had, parts, long speaking parts in there. It wasn't like they do sometimes in a lot of these shows where they just kind of run down, oh yeah, by the way, aren't you the guy that did this, blah, 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 blah. That's funny, huh? And no, they didn't do that. They just kind of... It just seemed like, boom, you're in the day of the life of these people, and you got to just learn their background. You got to learn but you can kind of figure out that, hey, this guy is a pilot, this guy is some type of government official, whatever. So it was very nice that they kind of did that too.
Exactly. I just
and the mech designs are very interesting. I find, especially with the ones that are in like the common soldier of these different world governments, they're very realistic. I think when it comes to realistic in our sense, as in our reality here,
as opposed to what you normally see in Gundam series. What I hope to see is the effect of weight and gravity. I know that they have this propulsion system, which probably just helps with all of that, so that the mechs don't handle like lead balloons.
Yeah,
and instead they handle like very very gingerly.
That was the other
kind
thing
of like human-like movement.
That I noticed too. The mechs actually, the one that flew in the series in the first episode on Earth, it flew differently.
Yeah.
Then its legs and its arms kind of just hung there, as the main body just kind of moved it around. So there was a lot of good detail. A lot of different detail than what they usually have in these Gundam shows. I mean, you always hear, oh, it was great detail, but this was a different... It even looks like they looked at physics when it came to a lot of this stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, I hope they can maintain this for the next however many episodes. I didn't really see... I don't even know if there's been an official word of how many episodes are going to be on this show.
Oh, I'm going to assume there's going to be 50 unless it doesn't do well.
I think that's what everybody's assuming, but I really hadn't seen... But once again, I've been trying to stay away from all information about it, and it helped. It helped this time because I came in with an open mind. It was like, it came out at me, and it was good. It was refreshing for once.
I know about one of our favorite websites, MAHQ.net. They list 50 episodes, but there's not a promise that it will be 50 episodes. I think it has to keep up the ratings, which I don't think it'll have a problem because it's going to have viewers from a lot of demographics.
Yeah.
The old, the young, women, all those different audiences will be watching the show. And I don't think it'll have a problem keeping up the ratings at all. And I'm going to assume it's going to run at 50 episodes at least.
I hope so.
In between 45 to 50. But that's just my speculation.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what everybody's thinking. But and I hope they kind of do it because I think with kind of the pace and the storyline and the character base, it needs 50 episodes because, like we said, there's a lot of characters. They're not spoon-feeding everything to us, but the pace is a pretty normal pace. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too slow, and it seems like...
They didn't try to hit us with too much in the first episode also.
Which was nice, too.
Exactly.
Because I think... And that not only goes with just Gundam shows, but a lot of these shows, a lot of these mech shows especially, they sometimes do too much with technology and trying to give you a whole idea of what the world is like in the first 25-minute episode, which can kind of give you information overload sometimes.
Exactly, and could turn you off on the show, and you don't want that. I've seen too many anime shows where it tries to drop so much on you and come off as a mystery, but at the same time you just feel overwhelmed and you don't think you're going to be able to grasp the whole story. I mean, I like a challenge like that, but a lot of people don't. So, they like to be eased on into a story and get to know the characters, and I think that's a good transition to make. They introduced a ton of characters, but the ones we really got to know were Setsuna, really mainly him, the Patrick, the who probably will turn out to be the rival,
the guy, the blonde guy,
the blonde ace that's in the show,
and the little Chun-Li girl,
the little Chun-Li girl, and the captain of the one celestial being ship. We got to see a little taste of her.
Yeah.
But with that being said, are there any negatives about the show that you might have? I know I have one.
I don't really have. I mean, I'm being really open-minded about it, so I don't have anything. I didn't find anything too negative about what was going on in the show or how it flowed or anything like that. I'm sure I will as it gets going, but at this point, I was pretty happy with the first episode. I was pretty happy that they finally broke the mold.
Yeah.
So, but what was your negative?
My only gripe, and this is an aesthetic gripe, is why does every Gundam show as of lately have to look like a yaoi fest? I understand why. They want to get the women viewer in there. They want to entice the Gundam wing crowd to watch. And I don't have a problem with the way the art style is now because I've seen it in animation. That's one of the things I had a problem with in Destiny, is that the art style, the animation was too static in that show. But in this, the characters move the flow more smoothly, and I hope that keeps up. I know that the director of Alchemist was pretty strong on keeping the budget of the show up on Alchemist, and I can't think of one episode of that show that looked bad animation-wise. So I hope they keep that tradition up in this series as well, and I hope he doesn't mess up the budget like the budget was messed up in Destiny. That's like a major gripe, and that's I don't even want one recap show. I want straight new episodes straight. If they want to take a break, but don't give us a filler show. Whatever you do, don't give us that.
But yeah, I guess that could be. I mean, if that's your only negative at this point, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I mean, I noticed that, but to be honest with you, I've seen that in all these shows now, and I've gotten to a point now where I don't even really bother with it anymore.
That's true. It's just a personal gripe, and I'll get over it. I just want to see a Gundam show. The last Gundam show that wasn't Yaoi Fest was Turn A Gundam. Ironically, had a main character that looked like a chick. But, the art style was from a woman also.
Like a chick.
Exactly, in some cases.
Yes.
But at the same time, it had like a well-rounded art style. Like the main artist for Mobile Suit Gundam and Zeta Gundam, Yaz, it was very reminiscent of his art style. And I want to see that come back maybe in the next series, but that's okay. Like I said, the show looks...
That's the biggest gripe.
Exactly. The show looks wonderful. Thank you, Sunrise, for a new Gundam series.
And thank you for breaking the mold, director, writers, producers, because it definitely will hopefully be an enjoyable experience.
Exactly.
But that comes to the conclusion of our first episode, or our first segment of the first episode, and our thoughts on the first episode of 00. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Gundam! Damn!
You've got the eyes of a soldier. Well, that takes a lot of guts, boy. Now I'm really impressed with you. Amuro, that your name?
Yes, sir.
If we should meet in battle, it'll be different. Good luck, Amuro.
Right.
I see that Gundam Mobile Suit is back. Where exactly did it come from?
What? How'd I miss?
Your aim is very accurate. Therefore, easy to predict.
He's not trying to dodge me. I've only got one shot left, so I'll ditch the beam rifle.
That pilot's making some excellent judgments. Tough man. But this is no Saku, boy. No Saku.
So powerful.
That's a pretty good job, Gundam. But you still haven't got me yet.
He's coming. I knew it.
Why, you're that young kid from the restaurant. Incredible. Well, times have changed, haven't they? Now they're training kids like you to be pilots.
Take that!
Very impressive. But remember, you couldn't have won this battle through your own strength. You owe it all to the mobile suit's abilities and nothing more.
Huh. You're a sore loser. Wait. want. I've gotta beat that guy.
Gundam!
Welcome back to Gundam, and our next segment is about what can be done to increase the popularity of Gundam in the United States, as well as the world. I know that it's the biggest. I don't
know if we have enough time. No,
yeah, probably not the world, but at least the United States and surrounding countries.
I can't comment on the world, but I can comment on the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a show that can be popular in the United States. I just think that there has to be a commitment through Bandai and probably through whoever else distributes the stuff to. Probably the biggest thing would be to give us the full experience. I think, as I've learned, and probably you've learned yourself, Soul Bro, that when there's a lot of accompanying mangas, short stories, novelizations that accompany all of these shows.
Right.
And I'll take a quick example. Anybody that's seen Gundam Seed, Kira Yamato, halfway through that show, he fights Atherin, the strike blows up. Next thing you know, you find him. He's in a hospital bed or something.
He's not just in a hospital bed.
Oh,
but he's in space.
Yeah, he's in space
in a space colony, and he got his mech blew up on Earth.
Yeah,
on a deserted island. Okay, how did he get there?
Well,
no explanation.
For about a year and a half, no one knew. Until one day, some guy, I guess, went over to Japan, bought the manga, and did a translation for it. And then a few months later, they released it. So I think having those tools in there, because I'm sure that probably turned off a lot of people. I mean, even myself, I enjoyed the show, but even I was like, to an extent, I'm like, WTF? I mean, I'm like, how is this guy? Okay, he just blew up at the end of this episode. Now he's up in space. Tell me.
It goes to show that we only get part of the story.
Yeah.
When we watch it in the small door, then the small keyhole that we get to see the show in, the small perspective that we get to watch the show. In Japan, you have a plethora, you have a smorgasbord of other venues of media to take in the whole Seed universe or the whole Gundam universe.
Yeah.
And at the same time a show's running, you've got a manga that's out that's running in synchronization with the show. And when they get to certain points in the show, certain things are explained from other angles, and that's an amazing thing.
And what's the what is it, Sentinel? Gundam Sentinel, that weekly or monthly magazine that
Gundam Ace?
Gundam Ace.
Gundam Ace.
Where they have the short stories in it too. And
exactly.
I mean, it's amazing. I'll go to these websites and you find out about these characters that are super popular in Japan. I'm like, who the heck is that? And then you find out, oh well, he's in the Zeta time arc, but he was in this story that was published in Gundam Ace 5 years ago. And you're like, what is going on?
And then another example is there's a girl in Seed who you probably caught a glimpse of, but you don't really know that well. You just see her in the background. But she kind of looks like, if you remember Izok Jewel, who is a ZAF pilot on the
dark-haired girl. Yeah.
The dark-haired girl. Yeah, who's supposed to be his woman.
Yeah.
And she's supposed to be just a whiz in the mech suit. And she's just all around cool character, and we know nothing about her.
Yeah.
We don't know the significance. But every time people see her on the screen, they lose their minds.
Yeah.
And it sucks not to have that kind of information to know exactly the importance of this person, or what they've done.
Yeah, and that's something
in their own history, and to see their character, it would be a big deal. It's like seeing Gundam, the Mobile Suit Gundam movies, and reading the novel.
Yeah.
Where you get to see Giran Zabi's secretary in the background,
and the prime minister,
and the prime minister, you know exactly who they are because you read the book.
Yeah,
and it's like that's an amazing thing when you actually can put all the pieces together.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, I think the problem that they've had is the fact of basically they're trying. I don't know if they're selling it in a way, or maybe it was when Gundam first was introduced in the United States that animated series weren't taken as being adult shows. I think now, the current time now, shows like Family Guy and shows like that make, I hear a lot of people that you probably would think 5 years ago that would watch a cartoon and enjoy it. And I almost think back when Gundam was introduced, people probably discounted. Plus, the way Cartoon Network kind of showed it.
Yeah, not only did they show it in the afternoon, cut up, but then at night they showed it uncut in concurrence with the daily showing. So those who wanted to see it, some people watched the show twice because they wanted to see the brand new episode and watch it again uncut at night. So it gave it double the exposure. Yeah. And I thought that was the neatest thing. And then I thought they were going to do the same thing with Mobile Suit Gundam, which had the opposite effect that Mobile Suit Gundam Wing had, where Mobile Suit Gundam Wing took off because it was a show that's easily digestible. And Mobile Suit Gundam, let's face it, I love Mobile Suit Gundam to death, but it's an old show. And I'm old. I'm 30 years old. I grew up with shows looking like that, so I got no problem watching the show from the 70s. No problem whatsoever. And the adaptation of it I thought was excellent. Even though it's in English, I have no problem with English dubs as long as they're done right and they're entertaining. Yeah. But Gundam was an excellent show. I taped every episode that I possibly could until September the 11th, where they canned the show because of what happened for obvious reasons.
They did that to a lot of shows.
They did that to a lot of any show having warfare in it. They took off the air, but it was also an excuse because it was not doing well in the ratings. It wasn't doing Gundam Wing well, and how could it? Gundam Wing is a show that has a lot of aesthetics to it that make it appealing. Mobile Suit Gundam, it's not so much about the mechs. It's not so much about Flash. It's more so about the characters and survival and the base things that war puts upon people. And it was, to me, it's a much better show than Gundam Wing, but it will never be appreciated in the United States.
And I think the thing when you said about the look, I think the biggest problem is not necessarily it looked old or anything like that, but the Mobile Suit Gundam still had the flashes of the Super Robot show in it. I mean, you still had, the transformation, the docking sequence.
There were some gimmicky things in that.
Let's be honest,
as well.
Gun Tank.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's the baddest mobile suit ever
created.
Baddest. Yeah. I mean, it's the most powerful suit ever. It looks a little hokey. Yeah. But and
it got the job done.
And
that's
definitely
all I know.
they updated it when they did the movies a few years later.
They retired him early.
And I think maybe that might be the best thing for them to do, if they were to reintroduce it, is to show the movies. Because from what I understand, reading a lot of websites and whatever, that is considered the canon now. Is the show is a separate thing, but the Mobile Suit Gundam movies are the canon, because there's halfway through the show there's some differences.
That I can accept. I can't accept the Zeta movies, which came out recently, as becoming canon, no matter what. No,
that's a separate topic right there. But
they cut out way too much. They cut out They cut out
Jafar.
They cut out Char's speech.
Yeah,
and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that would be a good way. I think probably the biggest problem they have here also is in Japan, Gundam is cross-marketed with a lot of models and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think
that's how it really took off.
The problem here in the United States is models and things like that a lot of times are thought of as toys.
And hobbies.
So I think
small-time
people
hobbies
automatically discount it in that way.
Exactly. And remember the advertising campaign they used to have for Gundam?
Yeah.
For the Gundam models, where they were really trying hard to make it hip.
Oh, you could tell, because they had 20-year-old kids.
Yeah.
20, college kids.
They had the 5 different levels. Level 1, that was the really lowest you could go in the
level
simplest.
5, which is basically high grade.
High grade or master grade, or the highest grade you could get. But they really tried for a while, like in the late 90s, early 2000s. But somehow it just wasn't doing it. Now, there was an announcement recently where when Bandai and Namco joined up together, that they were going to put out a new effort to get Gundam known worldwide.
Yeah.
And it may have something to coincide with the 30-year anniversary, which will be in 2009.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the only way they can really get it popular in the States is do a concentrated effort on the 30th anniversary. And they're doing a pretty good job with 00. I mean, we're talking about this after the first episode of 00 aired, and in one of our prior segments, we gave our thoughts about it, and pretty much, I think if that show kind of goes the way that it seems like it's going, that could be one of those shows. It could be the show that could reinvigorate the Gundam franchise in the United States.
It could do it.
But yeah, they're definitely going to have to do something with the 30-year anniversary.
You can tell that it has a more international cast in this series.
Yeah,
I can already see it, as opposed to Seed, mainly Japanese. Most of the characters are Japanese. It had an international cast.
I'll be honest with
too.
you. It doesn't seem like they've had an international cast since probably Zeta.
No, since Turn A. Turn A was the most international I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's true.
Turn A, and a lot of people out there hate Turn A, but I love Turn A to death. It's the anti-Gundam show,
but
by far.
Victory was all like Western Europeans. It seemed like.
Yes, it was.
Like you said, Seed. It was like all Japanese.
Wing.
They were supposedly different, but those kids were all the same. I don't. Yeah, I mean, how Kachura was a Arabite.
And I could take that statement back about the most international cast, because G Gundam had a pretty international cast too.
Right.
I mean, that was the whole focus.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but
well, no, I understand what you're saying, and it seemed everything was a little bit more varied, and yeah, because a Seed, it seemed like every character was from Japan, except for a few of them.
Exactly.
I mean, and they all had that Japanese anime character look to them. So. Yeah, I think that would probably be the biggest thing. I really think the thing that they really got to focus on is bringing the whole thing, bringing the whole, the whole plate of what they have.
Really,
because you get confused. I think that would help it.
Really quick, what would be your game plan if you were working at Bandai and you were given the task of actually promoting Gundam in the States? What would be your first step in order to get people interested in it again?
I think probably what I would do first, and I've only read what was available here in the U.S., but I would probably take the Gundam The Origin mangas or their more graphic novels than anything, which is basically a reimagining of what happened in Mobile Suit Gundam, where there's so many different twists and everything that we could, you wouldn't even... we don't have time right now to talk about, and probably go on reintroduce those in some type of bound form, and go to different conventions, book clubs, and pushing it, because
every anime convention, every major
and not
comic book convention
anime,
you can.
I would say foreign literature.
Yeah. Bring more of the novels over here.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you. From what I read, I was very impressed with the writing. I almost think. I know graphic novels in the U.S. got mad popularity right now, between like 300 and 30 Days a Night and all that. And I almost think those, the Gundam The Origin books are on par and might be, a little bit better than some of the graphic novels that everybody's going crazy about here.
To me, Gundam The Origin in graphical form is the best rendition of Gundam outside of the novel.
Yeah.
Outside of the novel, Gundam The Origin is really stunning, and if I was to make the first step for the 30th anniversary, that would be the show that would commemorate Gundam by reanimating Gundam as Gundam The Origin. They could do it as an OVA series, but I'd like to see them take that manga and animate it, because it's fantastic, and you get more knowledge about the characters, and they spend more time developing the characters and laying out the scenarios that happen, and it's amazing. But I'm sorry.
The only other thing I would do is, especially right now with a lot of movie star actors, that you're finding out they're into a lot of these different shows,
like Tobey Maguire
or whatever. I think you need to kind of approach them and and kind of do it in that aspect too, because I think unfortunately the United States is we're kind of a country of sheep. So if there's somebody popular that likes something, that's
everybody flocks to them.
But what would be your solution?
I'm on par. Actually, my first step, instead of trying to do Gundam The Origin, I would push 00's. 00's looks like a show that can probably be very well liked. I don't know if Cartoon Network has it in them to really promote the show like they used to.
The only problem that we got with Cartoon Network is that that show, and it goes back to the debacle with Seed when they released it here in the States.
Yeah.
Should have never been on Toonami.
It should have never been. It should have been an Adult Swim.
It should have been an Adult Swim.
But the thing about Adult Swim is they don't they rag on a lot of their anime, except for maybe Ghost in the Shell and Full Metal. But to me, there's a battle at Williams Street where half the people like anime and half the people don't. So but the money makers are the comedy shows. Right. That's where all the ratings are at. They're gonna concentrate on those. Anime is kind of let's give back to the fans who helped Toonami become what it was.
Yeah, Adult Swim,
and who have grown up. And this is our charity to you. We're gonna show these anime shows. Maybe one of them will be popular, but most of them aren't. I'd try to find another channel or venue that's willing to take a chance on this show. I can't think of one right now, but I think that they could find the right channel to put Gundam on. Numerous Gundam series, but have 00 be the figurehead of that block to get people's interest back in it. I think you have something there. There's Stars. Yeah. And Stars shows a lot of anime now. How about them?
They always did.
Exactly. They're a pay channel, but you know what? If they had a block dedicated to anime on a certain day, I think people would watch.
Yeah, and you would have to do it on a cable channel that most everybody's going to get, and it's probably not a premium because, like, just for example, IFC has got Samurai 7, which is an excellent show, but who gets that unless you have satellite? You're the only person, you know.
Or digital cable.
Well,
I have it on mine.
Oh,
so.
do you?
Yeah,
it must be an upgrade then. Yeah. But yeah, I guess, I mean, this is going to be kind of an ongoing debate. I mean, we don't know, and, you know, we don't even know what they're trying to accomplish. But
if you frequent the MAHQ boards, be on the lookout for a subject about this up there, because we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And we'll touch upon this more in a later show, and honestly voice your opinions on this. And it actually may help the effort.
Yeah, because we feel a lot of these shows are great shows and they're superior shows to a lot of what's being shown out there. And you know, it's a shame that they don't get to do like this sometimes that they should.
Exactly. But anyway, that's the end of this segment. But like I said before, please continue listening. We'll be moving on to the next segment in just a moment. And you've been listening to Gundam.
You're a Gundam genius. You must have a Gundam IQ of 160.
Look at that!
This is Soul Bro Review, and when you have a free moment, check out these cool websites. MAHQ.net. And that stands for the Mecha and Anime Headquarters. They have information and reviews on a variety of animes, as well as specs on mecha from your favorite series. Check out the forums and see what the regulars are saying about Mobile Suit Gundam 00. AEUG.blogspot.com. And that website is Ganada. And that's your #1 news site for all things Gundam. But watch out for those spoilers on Gundam 00 though. FTSshow.com. And that's for the podcast that started it all. Flip the script. Anime, video games, movies, TV, and music are a few of the subjects that are tossed about in a roundtable discussion by 6 very different individuals. Boy Wonder, Dr. Encyclopedia Black, Lee Majors, and Shoji Romuro, as well as the host of Gundam, Neo Lorinoke, and Soul Bro Ryu. GundamOfficial.com. That's Gundam OFFICIAL.com. And that's for the official website of Gundam, of course. It's managed by the guru of Gundam himself, Mark Simmons. For those who had missed out on Simmons' mega fan site and extensive wiki of mobile suits in the late 90s, labeled the Gundam Project, now's your chance to see the second coming of it at GundamOfficial.com. www.myspace.com/Gundam the show. That's GUNDAMN the show. And last but not least is the website for the unofficial podcast for all things Gundam and Mecha, Gundam. Check us out on MySpace, and if you're a member, add us as a friend and give us your opinions on the Mecha series you enjoy. Peep these cool websites when you get a minute. Now, back to...
You maniacs! Damn yous! Damn yous all hell!
Back to Gundam, and we're going to hit a quick little topic here, kind of a little bit funner topic for everyone out there, but you always hear about like must-see TV, and that was like, what was that, like NBC in the 90s or something. And we're going to do a quick thing of must-see mech anime, including just all the other different types of mech anime and Gundam. So, bro, what would be, for the mech fan, what would be a must-see show that you would...
A must-see show that's probably not very well known. I'd have to say Gunbuster. Gunbuster is up there. Gunbuster is anime from Gainax, the people who brought you Evangelion. And although I haven't seen all of it, at the time it came out, it was very unique. It took the super robot genre and kind of turned it on its head. You had female pilots instead of male pilots. You had the most powerful mech in the universe, mechanic, like in Space Runaway Ideon. And it was very it was a very emotional anime, and it was very unconventional. One of my friends, one of our co-hosts on our show, Flip the Script, Shoji Rimuro, loves that show. He's a big advocate for old school anime, and he'll stand by Gunbuster to this day. There's also a sequel to Gunbuster called Gunbuster 2, which came out recently, and it's excellent. How about you? What's your one? What's one of?
Well, if it was something that somebody enjoys mech and they want something a little bit different and something enjoyable in kind of the super robot genre, I would have to say King of Braves Go Gaigar.
Of course.
Because I would say any person that enjoys any type of mech anime, if it's Gundam, Robotech, whatever it might be, that show is just amazing.
And you may think it's a toy commercial.
But
that's probably what it started out as being. But, I mean, we were told about this show at a mech panel like 2 years ago. And we knew about it, but we really didn't know how great the show was. But being told about the show and how big of a turn it makes about the middle of the show.
Well, it's not even that. It's the turn is there, but I'm not going to go too much into it. But it's one of these shows where it's about 50 episodes long. It could have ended on 3 separate occasions, and you would have been fine. Actually, the first time is like around like halfway through, a little over halfway through,
right?
Like episode 31, 32. There's this big battle. Everything goes the way it needs to go. And you know what? It could have ended right there and you've been fine. But no, they had to kick it out. But that, I would have to say, more than anything. And yes, it looks like a kid's show. It was originally intended as a kid's show.
But when they realized their audience was mostly like older teenagers and adults, about midway through, the show takes this paradigm shift, and it keeps on rocking and doesn't stop.
I've never seen anything that's so much fun, but actually makes sense. They do things in that show that, if you looked at it on paper, you would say there's no way that this actually would work. But that show is flawless. I mean, the way it's written and everything, and it is just, I mean, and you don't, there's not one down thing to it. There's not one negative aspect in that whole show, between the villains, heroes, everything in between. It is just, it's fun, it's a great adventure, and you just, after every episode, you just want more.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I need to see this show.
Yes. What would be another one that you would have to say?
Oh man, I'd hit the audience with a subject that we'll talk about later on, and probably a segment that we'll take up a whole segment, but the classic Aura Battler Dunbine.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, that show is gruesome and so awesome at the same time. I mean, you take the concept of was it an Englishman? Was it?
It's a fairy tale.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale, but take the story of a Yankee in King Arthur's court,
yeah, and
spin it into a mech show, which was supposed to be aimed for like a romance, but ended up turning out to be kind of like the most unconventional mech show ever made. And
unconventional romance.
Unconventional. From the start to the finish, the show was so different. And there's a turning point in the show that you're so happy to see happen because they kind of allude to it. And then when they finally get into it, it just brings a whole new dynamic to the show. But as the show presses forward, I won't say anything about the ending, but it's powerful. And there's one particular death towards the end that is the coldest death I've ever seen in anime, next to maybe one in the day on.
Yeah.
But that show is excellent. The mech design is very unique. The characters are all they're all against the grain. You got a character that's angst-filled, but he's also a contradiction to himself. You have these characters that some of them are working out of necessity. One of them, Shot Weapon, he created the R Battlers, which are the mobile suits in the mecha of the show.
Dudes ever.
But I mean, in his position, he was nobody in the regular world, our world that we live in. But he went to this world, he became a god, and he milked it for everything that it was worth.
As one of the best villains there is.
Oh
too.
my goodness! But before I go on, check out R Battler Dunbar. It's out in the United States. It's produced through ADV Films, and a lot of sites are blowing it out, so you can get it for cheap. But what's another one of your greatest hits?
As something for the anime fan that wants something, or the mecha fan that wants something different, I would say Fafner.
Sir.
Dead Aggressor Fafner. It's a newer show, and it looks a little bit like the character design's a little bit like Gundam Seed.
The same character design.
It's not that show in the least.
Completely different show.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I got to me was just the pace of the show, the use of music in the show, which I thought was amazing. I think sometimes, and this encompasses all types of movies or shows. A lot of shows and movies don't know how to use music to do the mood. A lot of times they just put music for whatever reason, just because they have to, or it's something hot or whatever it might be. But this show, I mean, they took like orchestra music and put it to a regular show, and each one of those, it pretty much seems throughout the whole show, there's not a point where there's dead air. It always seems like there's music going on, and it seems like that music is not only, you not only see what's going on, but with that music you can feel it.
It was utilized very well.
Oh yeah, and then the ending is, I mean, it's one of the better endings when it comes to just using common sense for once, which is kind of a it can be a far cry in the old mech and anime world.
On top of that, when I watched that show, I got the horrified feeling I was watching the slasher film at the same time.
Yeah, you know what? It does seem like kind of like a slasher film.
It is like it has that pacing of a slasher film
because the enemy comes out of nowhere.
Enemy is so mysterious and menacing that, you know, and any one of these characters can go at any minute. And that's like one of the things about the show, that it held nothing sacred. It held nothing sacred at all. And you're watching it, and it's like, dude, how are they gonna beat these people? How are they gonna beat this enemy?
Because it was one of the shows where it was really hopeless.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a hopeless situation.
It was mankind's dwindling. There's nobody left to fight except for maybe these few people who are fighting to survive themselves. And now the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Yeah,
and it was just
most enjoyable.
Yeah, I have to say, from watching the show, it really stands out in my top 10.
What would be another one you would think here? Because we got not too much more time around. But what do you think another must see would be?
One of the all time classics is Super Dimensional Fortress Macros.
Yeah, but everybody's seen that show. Man.
Everybody's seen that.
That's not. I mean, it's a must see.
That's a must see that everybody knows about. So. Instead,
I think all these mech fans have seen.
Yes, I guess they've all graduated that show. Then another one I have to say is Argento Soma. I think that show itself.
I've never seen it in its entirety, but I enjoyed what I saw.
To me, I like the whole mysterious element behind the show, the whole Shakespearean element behind the show. I forget what Shakespearean play it's a lot like, but you know, you have this main character who lost the woman that he loves, and he has a second chance at life. He kind of makes a Faustian bargain with the guy who pretty much is like the devil, in order to get his revenge on a monster that, you know, he believes maliciously killed his woman. And it just happens to be a mech show. But it's very character driven. I like the main character a lot, although he came off as a complete jerk to most of the characters. But he was very anti-lead, like, you know, he's not the dashing hero. He's angry. He's mad. Yeah. He is out for revenge, but he's cold and calculating. And he was a fascinating character to watch, and so were the rest of the cast. They were all interesting, and I like that show. Everybody, again, another series that's out here in America. Go find it if you can. It's box setted, so check it out.
Some parts of it, and I never saw it in its entirety or even in order.
Right,
but it was it seemed pretty good, but it definitely seemed I was a little lost though. So I mean, I definitely have to go back on that. Myself, what would be another show for the mech fan, that would be a must-see. I would know a must-see show for the Gundam fan that I know is actually would be two, and I'll let the other one for old Soul Bro. But I would say for me, and I know a lot of people haven't seen this. If you're going to Gundam route, would be Gundam X.
Yes, sir.
Because it's the old, I don't know if anybody ever read comics, but the old Marvel What If series where they'd be like, what if Gwen Stacy lived, and they go through that. This is basically the Gundam. It's the 1 Year War version.
The worst case scenario edition.
It's the 1 Year War edition of what if all the colonies fell instead of just like one or two that happened in the actual Mobile Suit Gundam show. But characters were great. Just had a different feel. Had a real feel of hopelessness,
and it also had one of the most consistent stories in Gundam, and that's mainly attributed to the fact that one writer wrote the entire show, which is really it's an endeavor if you think about it, because usually a writer has a staff of writers helping him along, and he did. But at the same time, he mapped out an entire show, so that's why the show seems so solid. But it's also in kind of an anthology series too.
Yeah, and what was nice about it too is everything's in story arcs.
Yep.
So it wasn't like at the first episode they're trying to achieve this, and by the end of the show they're going to achieve that. Mm-hmm. It was just like the day in the life of these people and the little adventures that they had, and it was actually pretty interesting. And the other cool thing about it was the varying designs of the grunt suits. The grunt suits that were left over just didn't look like anything that really you had seen in Gundam, and they looked all different. You could tell they were all done by different countries or whatever, leftovers.
And two of the most menacing Gundams ever were in that show. And they were, and it was funny because there were 5 Gundam pilots, but they were not unified.
Oh, not at all.
There were 3 on one side and 2 on the other, and the 2 were, like I said, like Ryu Soma and Argento Soma, they were angry. They had vengeance on their minds, and they had
reason to be angry.
And they had a reason to be angry. And once you learn that reason, you could kind of relate to them. They're kind of mad in an insane kind of way, but you
understood why they were so.
You understood where they were coming from, and that show was just, to me, it was very well developed. If there's any Gundam series that deserves a sequel or a continuation, it's that show, because it got cut in its prime because of bad ratings, and because the audience wanted a Gundam Wing type show, and they didn't want to understand Gundam. And by that time, they were burnt out on Gundam too. If you think about it, they had 2 other Gundam series back to back, G Gundam and Wing Gundam. And by the time X rolled around, they were more so looking for a continuation of Wing, and they didn't get it.
No, not at all.
So they tuned out and they shafted the show, and it never got to run its full course.
But that goes to your must-see of Gundam, which suffered just as much as that one.
Oh my gosh, my must-see of Gundam. Are you talking about Turn A Gundam? Oh my gosh, the Un-Gundam.
The Un-Gundam Gundam.
The Un-Gundam. That show, it is another Gundam series that did not follow a formula. You had one Gundam in the entire series.
Yeah.
I think Yoshiyuki Tomino, the Grandmaster Gundam, when he made his comeback, he made that Gundam series to be the most unmarketable Gundam show you could ever make.
Yeah.
I mean, the mech designs were unlike any Gundam series you ever saw. I like the design of the Turn A Gundam. It is awkward looking, but it's very unique looking out of all of them, and it stands out. There's a game called Gundam vs. Gundam that's coming out soon for the arcade and for the systems. If you put all those Gundams in the lineup in that game, that's the one that's going to stand out the most because it's so unique looking. But the lead was different. I think Tomino probably wanted a female lead, couldn't do it. Sunrise wouldn't approve it, so he made a character that was male. I mean, if they really wanted to be breakout in that show, they could have made the lead of that show a woman that was a lesbian. That'd have been nuts.
Well, I mean,
that'd have been nuts.
Even though it wasn't a girl, it was still a minority pilot.
A minority pilot. On top of that,
first minority pilot.
It was like watching that show. It was the complete flip. I never thought that Tomino would ever do that, but he's been more of a groundbreaker now than he was back in the day.
The first black person they've ever seen in Japan. Half those people. That and old Yo MTV Raps thing.
Exactly.
No, it was definitely good. I enjoyed it. It was, and once again, it was one of those kind of what if things where it wasn't so much as a Gundam X where it was what if, but it was, the Gundams in every show, they're the most powerful mechs, most powerful weapons in the world.
Exactly.
And that thing destroyed the world.
Exactly.
And it was kind of the what if thing of where the technologies just got out of hand, and here's this weapon, and it took care of everything. And but yeah, I would agree. It is a must see.
It is. And the one final note about that show, when watching it, there is. I just think that Tomino, instead of making tragedy on a wide scale in that show, he made it more personal. There's a couple episodes where tragic things happen, and remorselessly. And then on top of that, the finale of that show, the last 5 minutes to me almost made me want to cry because of one character. One character, and how, of course, you saw it was going to play out that way, but it's classic Tomino fashion. Yeah. It's the Frau Bo
without
syndrome.
killing her.
If you're familiar with Frau Bo from Gundam, you realize there's another character in the show that plays a Frau Bo role, and she did not deserve that stuff. And anyway, let me not go on. But Turn A Gundam, excellent show. Watch it with your children.
Well, those are just some of our thoughts on some of the must-sees.
Because by the time y'all have kids, that show will be out here in America.
Yeah, and popular.
Maybe so.
But those are just a few of our must-sees. I'm sure this will be a kind of a segment that we'll be coming back to here and there, especially when we don't have anything else to talk to, or we discover new things. But and if anyone out there has any must-sees that maybe we haven't seen or whatever, contact us. We'll get our website information towards the end of the show here. So, all right, and that concludes this segment. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
Gundam.
All right. I demand to know what you think you're doing.
I was wondering what it is you're fighting for, Mr. Bright.
This is not the time to get philosophical on me, Amuro. Stand up this instant.
Hey, why don't you leave me alone? If you're so eager to send Gundam into battle again, why not pilot it yourself?
What? I'd do it if I could. I don't need a kid to tell me how I should do my job.
Yeah, well, I don't see why I have to do something just because I can.
I'm standing there thinking, this nigga really is lost. First of all, you don't slap a man.
You shouldn't have hit me.
I don't like that tone.
You got no right. Not even my own father hit me before.
Okay? I mean, even when slapping was fashionable, and, they did it in Paris, the guy would come up, pop hat, I challenge you to a duel. They would have a gunfight after that. Somebody had to go.
Obey my orders. Don't like it? Feel free to hate me. I don't care.
Gundam, damn.
Well, folks, that finishes up the first inaugural episode of Gundam, the unofficial podcast of all things Gundam and Mech. This is Neo Lornoke, and
this is Soul Bro Ryu.
And we will see you hopefully in about 2 weeks with another show. A couple more topics, a couple more segments, and definitely some feedback and our thoughts on the next 2 episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam 00.
And we'll be looking for your feedback on the MAHQ.net boards, and we'll be posting topics, and whatever you put up there, we'll talk about on the show. And we want to involve our listeners, so that's a big thing with us. And
how can our listeners how can they get in touch with us again?
There's 2 ways. You can check the website that we have set up so far, and that's www.myspace.com/Gundam the show, GUNDAMNTHESHOW. And you can also email us at Gundam@cfl.rr.com. Of course, it's Gundam as in GUNDAMN.
But we'll be looking forward to everybody's comments and emails. Once again, just give us any things your thoughts, any shows that we might want to check out, your thoughts of different things. Like we said, anything dealing with mech, especially Gundam, we'll definitely talk about. And we look forward to all that. And hopefully the MySpace page is actually kind of new, so we're going to be definitely putting some things on there. We'll probably start doing some blogs here and there.
Exactly.
Especially a section, I'm sure, dealing with 00.
I've got a lot to say.
But once again, you've been listening to Gundam. This is the first episode, the inaugural episode, so history has been made on October 7th, 2007. And this is Neil Lornock signing off, along with
Sobro Ryu.
We'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Wow, this is pretty cool, though I'm still kind of new at this.
Gundam is a Shinjuku Station production.
Whatever you say, chump. Let's go!